Virgin Radio, Style Rock.
Amici di Virgin Radio, è bellissimo essere oggi insieme a Shirley Manson a Day Garbage. Hello Shirley, how are you?
I'm good, thank you for having me.
I'm so happy to see you, I'm so happy to talk to you. How are the guys? What have you been doing during the pandemic?
Oh, I mean, doing exactly what you guys are doing, just trying to survive through this crazy time. And we're excited about putting out a record. We're really lucky that we got that under our belts basically before lockdown. And yeah, we're planning to go out and tour later this year. Whether it will happen, I don't know, but fingers crossed.
What can you tell me about it? No Gods, No Masters, your 7th album.
Yeah, our 7th album. I can't believe it. Well, it's a different record for the band. I think it's very opinionated. I know that'll come as a big surprise to everybody. But I also think it's a beautiful record. It's really hopeful and hopes for the best and, points out a few things that I think we could all be doing with changing. And I'm psyched. I'm psyched by the response to it. To be in a band for 25 years and get this kind of reactions, it's exciting.
As you were saying, you started working on it before the pandemic, but since then a lot of things happened. So how did the pandemic and other things happened affect the songwriting, the lyrics, or the sound in the studio?
Well, weirdly, most of the writing was done before the pandemic hit. So this record is sort of a little bit, it's very prescient. It touches on a lot of things that have been affecting us all over the globe over the last sort of decade, over the last year or so. But it was written before lockdown. We finished it basically, the majority of the record, literally a few days before lockdown in Los Angeles occurred. So, it was strangely prophetic. I mean, I think that's because I'm slightly a Scottish witch.
I can see that. I believe you. And the first single, The Man Who Ruled the World, is very explicit. So can we say, fuck politically correct? It's time to say what we think and to say what we actually want to say.
Well, yeah, I just think it's, clearly we're all in a bit of crisis right now, in terms of the way we're moving forward as a world. We're facing a lot of problems. And I'm frustrated that there isn't a more diverse representation of all of our interests in government, and this is not just in America, not just in the United Kingdom, not just in Italy, it's everywhere. I feel like we need more voices and more perspectives in order to solve some of the problems that we're now facing as a modern world. The world has changed a lot, particularly since the internet has sort of changed all our lives, galvanized a lot of voices. And I think it's time we have more women in parliament. It's time we have more blacks, brown people, indigenous peoples, trans peoples, all different people, because only then, when we have representation of our whole culture, can we solve the problems that we're facing. So that's just how I see the world. I've had enough of the old white men. I like old white men, but I don't want them solely in charge. I'd like them to share the responsibility with a few other people.
And we'll talk about politics later, but still, music seems to be the only way to spread a message, even if it's political. But with the other single, No Gods, No Masters, the title track of the record, you said you wanted to give a sense, meaning to the world we live in. And we still don't know which ways to stand, if we have to stand on one side or another. So still, politics might be one of our biggest problems nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not political. I'm opinionated. I'm not political. I'm not affiliated with any political party. I don't think of myself as right or left. I think we're all in a lot of trouble right now because people have gotten stuck in their sides, and they're not going to move or compromise or be an adult about how we solve the problems that we're all facing. So I'm very anti-political, but I understand politics. We are just part and parcel of when you get a lot of people together, politics will come into play. But I'm more interested in egalitarianism, equality for all. Everybody is deserved of security and kindness and love and happiness. That's all I care about. I'm not, like I said, here to solve any world problems. I just am pointing out the problems, like I'm saying, look over there, there's a problem. But I don't know how to solve it. And that's why I hope that we can get all the greatest minds of our society together to make things better for everyone.
What can you tell me about the sound? Which was the direction you wanted to take? What Butch did have in mind?
Well, Butch is only one of 4 people in this band. I know that he's always credited with everything, in this band. But there are 4 people, and together we all define the sound, the direction, the purpose of this band, So I think everybody did what they felt was necessary for the times. It's an aggressive, very forceful record. It's a lot of guitars and there's a lot of electronica. A lot. It's very signature garbage in many ways. And everyone keeps telling us that guitars are dead, but we love guitars. So we are holding true to who we are and making music that we want to make, that is influenced by all the people we fell in love with when we were young. Whether that was, there's a lot of Gary Newman influences on this record. There's a lot of Susie Sue, The Cure, Teardrop Explodes, a lot of new wave. There's Roxy Music. There's a lot in this record, and it all comes from our love of alt music, alternative music.
But still, I found the 2 first singles very fresh and modern. So we love guitars. Guitars are not that, and Gene Simmons from Kiss's Rock and Roll is not that at all.
We love guitars too, and yeah, we're very surprised by the response to the first 2 songs. And we too feel that. We've been together a long time. 25 years to be in a band together is insane. And the fact that we still get to make records and people still are excited by them, that's precious, So I think we feel really lucky.
And talking back about women, a lot of things happened since 2018 and in the last few years. There was the Me Too movement, but which is our position nowadays? Don't you think that it's quite retrograde that in 2021 we're still fighting for things that are obvious, actually?
Yeah, the world has yet to evolve to a better place. I am most concerned about racism. That probably would be my biggest concern right now, because I feel like if we don't solve that problem, solving the female problem is going to be even harder. I feel outraged by what's going on and the intolerance of the world, and lots of people telling other people how to live and how to be and what gender they are. Who are we to foist our idea of gender on anybody else? It's none of our business, And so I'm frustrated, but I see changes. I think the new generations of kids that are coming up, they're way more switched on than we ever were. Thankfully, again, to the access of social media, they're aware of what's going on. They're concerned about the planet in ways that our generation wasn't. So I feel hopeful that things will continue to change. I think the Me Too movement was both disturbing and depressing. But it's something that needs to be talked about. This is a serious problem. The violence towards women has to stop. And one of the ways towards stopping bad behavior is to start talking about it, start recognizing it, start pointing it out, And I really hope that good men, will help us figure this out, this problem. This is a male problem and needs to be policed by other men, And I'm dismayed a little by the silence of so many men who I know are good people, but won't speak out on our, to support our messaging. The statistics around violence towards women is unbelievable. It's bewildering and peculiar and sad.
It's true, even here in Italy, the situation towards women or problems related to gender equality is quite tragic. So we must be very optimistic for the future, but still, we have so many problems. But by the way,
yes.
Me Too movement was necessary, but still, as you were saying, we had the negative part of it. For example, cancel culture. How can we face it?
I don't know how you change things in society, really. I mean, if I knew that, I'd be a Nobel Prize winner, Nobel Peace Prize winner. I have no idea. I do know, though, that as someone so wisely said to me once, which is, if you have to be the change you want to see in the world. So therefore, if you disagree with cancel culture, you don't participate in it. I think it's that simple. I think cancel culture is very, very dangerous. I think people should be held accountable for their actions, but we have to always believe that there's redemption, that people can learn, people can change. Lord knows I have made so many mistakes in my life, and until somebody's pulled me up about it and said, here, this is where you're going wrong here. How else are we supposed to learn and grow and develop? We just have to be willing to teach and be willing to listen, I think. But yeah, I can't be bothered with cancel culture. I think it's ridiculous.
It is. I totally agree with you. And what about women in rock and roll? Because last time we talked to each other, we also talked about women in rock and roll. And since then, I found some changes. I think that new girls are coming up to success with their bands. What can you tell me about it?
Yeah, I think there's a plethora of incredible talent out there. It's exciting. I think there's a new generation of women who are fitter, who are bolder, who are more empowered than, again, my generation. And I'm proud that my generation has helped pave the way, in the same way that my heroes paved the way for me. But I see a lot out there. I'm constantly amazed by how much brilliance there is out there. And it's really, really exciting. And I feel like we're getting a little further away from these very conservative, male-pleasing pop stars. And we're beginning to see a generation of real, badasses. So that's cool, I think.
And you will be soon back on stage with Debbie Harry and Blondie in the UK. Are you excited?
Yeah, I mean, we've got an amazing year lined up. We actually head out with Alanis Morissette and Liz Phair in the US first. And then we get to go and join Blondie on tour. It just seems like an embarrassment of riches as far as I'm concerned, So to be touring with all these women who in their own way have changed the landscape of music for others who follow in their footsteps, it really is just feels like a gift, especially at the end of this ghastly, COVID horror. This just feels like something really magical, and I feel really lucky.
And we cannot wait to have you back in Italy, maybe with some good new girls, supporter as opening act. But I want to leave you with this memory. Let me be nostalgic for a second. I found it this morning. Our first picture together.
I remember meeting you. I remember this really, really clearly. You were so cute. And so nervous, and you're so gorgeous, and I had no idea why you were so nervous. But yeah, I remember it well. I have not forgotten you. You lodged a little space in my heart.
Thank you so much, Shirley.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. I'm really looking forward to see you soon.
Me too. And I know Italy's really been through the mill, and I just want to send a big thank you to all our Italian fans, and much love to you all, everyone in Italy. We're all going to get through this, I think, eventually.
Thank you. Ciao.
Ciao, grazie mille.
Virgin Radio, Style Rock.